are now hearing a song entitled, translated, Let It Rain Red Roses on Me, and uncharacteristically romantic, you might say, for Angela Merkel, but I think there's more than a trace of humor in her choice of this song, because as we could hear from her own remarks, it actually is never about her. Again, an absolute classic there, goes a long way back to Angela Merkel's youth. And we did see a little smile playing there at the corners of her mouth. She's keeping an absolute poker face, but I think we can assume that she will have been both amused and moved. And that was the hymn, Great God, We Praise Thee. And I think the significance.
Helm up. Zum Gebet. Helm auf.
The German national anthem playing us out there. You've been watching the Große Zapfenstreich, the grand military tattoo performed by the German armed forces in honour of departing Chancellor Angela Merkel. Still in office until next week, but this is her formal send-off. Departing Chancellor Angela Merkel, DW's chief political editor.
Cabinet ministers, because that's how many Angela Merkel amassed over 16 years of being in government. And she's surrounded by her family. She now faces the crowd. A slight bow, probably the most emotional we've seen her throughout, because this is a very much choreographed affair. And now Angela Merkel starts greeting people, getting a bit more personal now before she will actually be leaving here in an official car. So the most official, the most dignified of many farewells that we continue to see over days and probably weeks.
And as you say, a very well. I mean, she's not hugely emotional, but as you say, this is not a woman who is prone to, as you might say, wearing her heart on her sleeve. So I'm guessing after 16 years, it's okay to let a little bit of youth seep out. There she is, just smiling to the crowd.
Yes, and quite a crowd it is, because also there are Olaf Scholz, their current Vice Chancellor. Future members of the government, Annalena Baerbock, the Green co-leader, Habeck, her colleague, who will get a super climate and economics ministry. So it really is a moment at the crossroads of the handover before we see the election of the new chancellor in the coming week in the German Bundestag. But many people who were with her along the way here today, at the same time, very exclusive crowd.
A little wave as she moves off there. And over the years of the 16 years of her reign as Chancellor, you've followed her closely and have encountered her in person.
Yes, and I have to say the first time I actually got to go with her on her official plane, and there's a small briefing room, and she was sitting there in a cardigan, and she looked basically like a middle-aged woman in a cardigan. I thought, oh, wow, it's Angela Merkel, and she's sitting here in a cardigan. It was a bit unusual because she'd already created this brand of stability politics of hers. But I've also seen her interact with people very personally, and